My mother and I took a trip back to Swissvale, Pennsylvania in August of 2025 to recall her childhood memories from the 1940s, nearly 80 years ago today. What are we looking at here?
St. Anselm's Church, my church when I was 6 years old.
And behind you
is St. Anselm's School.
Where you went to
1, 2, and half of 3.
Half of 3. What happened at the other half of 3?
The other half of 3 was completed in
Aliquippa.
Aunt Martha Catone lived here. She was born there. And then when she married Uncle Bob, they moved across the street.
And this place on the corner.
Okay, this is the famous triangle joint. This was Uncle Bob's favorite hangout. He loved it. He said they had the best submarine sandwiches in the country.
Were they called the Battleship Destroyer?
Yep. And he had to make sure everybody got one when they came over.
The Triangle Bar and Grill has been serving hungry hoagie lovers since 1934. Still cranking out the 6-inch torpedo sandwiches, the foot-long Destroyer, and the Pittsburgh classic, the Battleship.
The Battleship's 24 inches long. It's salami, ham, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, oregano.
The famous sandwich shop caught the eye of then Prince Charles of Wales when he and his motorcade passed by in 1988.
And Prince Charles asked, how can they make battleships and destroyers in a building that little?
Okay, so this house,
This house,
2118 Monongahela, is what?
Papa drove the Catone's original house after we got married. So one day it was snowing real bad, and Phil, my cousin, and I got new snowsuits. We wanted to go outside and play in the snow. We couldn't wait. So we came out, and if you can see those 2 cement runs coming down on each side.
Yeah.
Well, it was my bright idea. I said, that's going to make a great sliding board. We were doing it all day. We had such a good time. And when we got home, it was discovered that we both were home to see our dance. Our mothers were so mad. They beat the crap out of us. Of course, it was my fault, but
Yep.
Phil would never do that.
How old did you say you were?
Well, we couldn't have been any more than 4.
What's the first window above the porch? What was in there on the left?
Uncle Nick and Aunt Bree lived up there, upstairs.
How about, oh, so they had the whole upstairs?
Yeah, there's only like 2 rooms and then an attic.
And an attic.
And Papa and Mama and me lived on the bottom floor. In a big room, this room here with the 3 windows, that was our bedroom. And when Papa come home from work, I'd be waiting on the fence there, waiting for him. He'd be walking down the street, and his buddies would see, there goes Piz, going to get his princess. Take a walk. Mama would have me all dressed up in a dress and a whole bit, and he'd come in, put his lunch bucket down and get me, and we would go for a walk.
There you go. So you would go what now? Out the back?
Out the back door, through the yard, and then they had a gate out there, a little alley, and Uncle Eddie's house was across the alley.
So this is Burton Street. And who used to live here?
Uncle Eddie.
And one of these.
One of these.
Okay, so there lie the plot of.
The old Catone homestead.
And who were the parents?
Joseph and Philomena Catone. Probably in the 20s they moved in. Okay, there was Nicholas, Charles, Joseph, Mary, Anthony, Edward, and Robert.
Those are all the children.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, still on Monongahela Avenue. We think the brown house was Aunt Moni's.
Yeah.
All right.
That was one of the original H.J. Heinz original factory. In this building right here, my uncle Philip owned a butcher shop.
So right there is where Uncle Eddie and Papa owned the Esso gas station.
Exactly. That was in the 40s.
Wow. So Swissvale in the 1940s. Christmas, what was that like?
Everyone would go to Aunt Moni's house. Aunt Moni was Mary Catone, who was the sister of all the boys. And so everybody congregated at her house. Now, the first house I remember was on Duquesne Avenue, across the street from Madonna del Castello Italian Church. And everybody would go to church there and then across the street and up the steps and to Aunt Moni's house. And she had a big dining room, big table, and of course it included the 7 fishes, all the pasta, and she's the only one I know that made trifoli, little dough balls covered in honey and nuts and stuff, and we went crazy over those.
Who made all this?
Aunt Moni. After dinner, they cleared off all the thing, everybody helped, and they set up the table for cards. Everybody played cards. Even the kids, they let the kids play too. They played Skull and a couple other names I don't remember. I was pretty little. And they let until it got to be about 11 o'clock. Then it was time for the kids to go to bed because the next day was Christmas. And nobody wanted to go home. So Aunt Moni had a big, we called it a rollaway bed. It was a bed that rolled out, and and all the kids got on the bed and went to sleep. Uncle Louie and Aunt Moni were the heart of the family because Aunt Moni was the matriarch, and her husband, Uncle Louie, we loved him dearly, and he was our chauffeur, our babysitter, everything. He did everything. Whatever Aunt Moni told him to do, he did. When one of the sister-in-laws needed something at the store, hey Louie, Josephine needs bread from the store, and he'd jump in his car and go get bread and bring it to Josephine. And hey Louie, Jenny has to get milk for the baby. You better go get it. So that's what he did. I don't know when he found time to go to work, but he really did. He worked at the Westinghouse Corporation. And that's when he made all the heirloom knives for all the sister-in-laws.
For cooking? Yeah.
Yeah, for cooking. We all have that knife. And all the boys worked. They either worked in the union switching signal, like most of them. Uncle Tony had a coal truck. Uncle Nick had his things. And they all came home and gave Aunt Moni the check, their paycheck. And then she gave them what she thought they should have.
She was like the Godfather.
Yeah.
So you told me about the Triangle. Was there any other stores or shops or?
Well, there was Isley's.
Yeah.
Isley's was a big deal in Pittsburgh. Their corporate place was in Pittsburgh. And they had a little ice cream shop in Swissvale uptown. We would go up and get it with the skyscraper ice cream cone. I don't know if everybody's aware of those, but...
Nobody's aware of those.
Oh, okay. They were like this tall. And they had a special scoop that they scooped it out with. And, usually everybody got rainbow because It had all the different ice creams in there, and that was a big treat for everybody.
In the 1940s and 50s, the local Isley store was always buzzing. Workers sipping coffee before punching in, or stopping by for a chipped chopped ham sandwich on their lunch break. Kids running from school, trading in their pennies for a skyscraper cone or a Klondike bar. This scene played out in hundreds of stores across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Isley's was a household name. But the real draw was the ice cream counter, where kids and adults alike marveled at dozens of flavors and watched as the employees piled rich ice cream high onto crispy cones. Isley's skyscraper cone made its first appearance in the 1920s. This tall treat was twice the size of the average ice cream cone. It even required a special scoop and technique to build.
And then on Saturday afternoon, Aunt Moni would pack us a lunch, and me and Phil and Aunt Kathy and Mary Lou would go to the movies, which was halfway up the street and halfway to Isley's. Anyway, we would go to, we'd stay all day. We'd watch the things over and over and over again because we had lunch to eat. It was nice. It was fun. So we did that almost every Saturday. That's where I got into the cowboy thing. We chose sides. I was Roy Rogers and Phil was Gene Autry. And we used to fight over who was the better one. Palm Sunday, believe it or not, that was a big deal. And everybody got all dressed up to go to church with their, refinery on and everything. And then we'd come back to our house on Monongahela Avenue. Uncle Nick and Aunt Marie lived upstairs, and so when all the kids got there, we went up to see Uncle Nick and Aunt Marie. It was just like going to see The Godfather. And we'd go upstairs and we'd all stand in line, and he was sitting on the chair, and you'd go up to him one at a time and give him, thank him and kiss him and
Really?
everything.
Yeah.
And then he would give you money. And that was a tradition, Catone tradition, with the money in Palm Sunday.